Okay, I've made the executive decision to stick with the angles for a bit more, just because I feel they can be refined a tad more. And there's one or two things that, if this is the first DVD that you've ever purchased from me, and you didn't buy the figure drawing a layered approach, and you're not a member of drawingtutorialsonline.com, well, there's one or two things that I want to show you in sync with the angles, and I'll do it on a separate piece of paper very quickly. And hopefully I'll do it all right for you. So basically, we have our compass, and someone in the forum forgot, it might have been Jody, I'm not quite sure, called it a clock. Okay, so we've got north and south, west and east. So now that just tells us what's going straight up and down and what's going perfectly level. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because I know some of you have been with me for a while. And you've purchased my figure drawing, a layered approach, and you've seen me do this many, many times. But now, if we just look at the subtle angle of this arm, the big macro angle, it is not going straight up and down. It's subtly tilted. Something like that. Now, on that tilt, we've got a couple of angles. You know, we've got this thing, and then we come in, and then we come in a little bit more, and then we come up, and then we go across. But let's take this angle right over here, which is not, that's our macro, and it's almost going on a 45. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm also doing it on the interior. So if I look at, say, this chest muscle area, that's an angle, and then we kind of curve in. The more angles that you create, the more curved your drawing will look. And you first got to tolerate the big, macro angles like I just showed you right over there. But you're thinking about this thing as a clock. So, if there's an angle going this way, it's at 1 o'clock. One going this way, it's at 2 o'clock. One going this way, it's at 3 o'clock. You might like that way better. But I kind of just prefer thinking of them in like degrees. Not that I'm this big math guy, but it's just simpler for me to understand it that way. So now let's push it a tad more, because I want to just show you. Now my pencil's getting a little dull. I've been using the same pencil for the whole time, and this thing really angles out actually. But I don't care, because again, I'm going for softness. And if you were with me on the fabric drawing DVD, that drawing is not soft. That drawing is kind of really crisp, because I did it on smooth Bristol paper. Now this is just regular white paper, and I'm working with a slightly dull pencil. And this white paper has tooth to it. So that tooth is going to act like sandpaper. And so this has got to be higher than that. So let me do that right now. Yeah, this tooth of the paper is totally acting like sandpaper, which is dulling everything down. And I don't mind working soft. I mean, I kind of dig that. I've seen a couple drawings at the museum that I absolutely adore, because they are just so realistic. You step back 10 feet from them, and they are like ultra realism. You go up really close, like 2 feet away from the drawing, or the painting, because there's a couple drawings and paintings that way, and they look so fuzzy and out of focus. It's not even funny, but there's something to be said about drawing this way. Now, there's a whole school of thought out there from a lot of students and a lot of teachers that there's no such thing as line. And I've mentioned this before many times. I don't agree with that. They'll say that there's no line here. It's just this tone against the tone here, against another tone here, against another tone here. And so tone separates everything. And so you're just dealing with hard or soft edges with the tone. And but I like line, and I'm a little bit more stylized with my drawing. I'm not into I don't like to give myself too many rules, because too many rules sets you up for disappointment, and you just kind of want to have a certain style and be a little flexible for your fine art stuff. For an illustration type thing, you kind of want to stick pretty close to the vest with your style. You don't want to change that too much, because then you start to confuse art directors and potential clients. So I'm doing the angles where all the chips are in the neck area. Hopefully my head didn't get into the picture there, because I was really leaning in. So now I'm doing the angles for the shadow, side plane, and this is a beautiful convex angles over here. I think my drawing's going to be better for it that I'm really pushing all the angles and stuff like that. So now let's do this. Let's pull lines straight across. Got to be careful here. I tend to rush and I don't pay attention too much to my measurements. Now, if I'm going to do any lines over here, they've got to be extremely light. I just want to make sure that I didn't drop this too much. This is higher than that, so we're doing okay. Okay, let's push this. Squinting, you know, every once in a while you want to squint. Because again, you just see things so much simpler that way. And I'm going to push this in a little bit more, so I'm looking at the distance from here to here. That's what I think I need to be really cautious of, is that I don't bring this neck area, I don't make it too wide. So I'm going to pull this in a little bit. Now, if I wanted to, I can sit here forever and tweak this stuff, but I also understand that you're watching this at home and you want to see me make some results pretty fast. So I'm going to do that for you shortly, but understand that this, you know, I teach next to a wonderful teacher who was my teacher in the past on Saturdays, and he's really, you know, to the nines. Yeah, he's the I call Marvin Madelson. He was my teacher. I call him the Norm Abrams of drawing. And if you've ever watched the show in the United States, This Old House, there's like the master carpenter Norm Abrams, and he has a tool for everything. And his, you know, workshop is loaded with tools. Well, that's Marvin. Marvin has a tool for everything, and in their class, he will not, you know, they spend, I got to watch what I say here because I don't know 100% because I'm not in his class, but I'm going to dare to say that they spend a 6-hour class on, you know, just doing angles. They might even do that a little bit more. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but I think he's done that in the past, and I've only been doing this for 40 minutes. So 40 minutes, 6 hours, you know, you've got to put things into perspective. And this is for a video, and so I've got to make it interesting for you at home. But understand, if you're at class and you're taking a live class and the model's doing a 6-week pose, 40 minutes for a 6-week pose is nothing. So still looking at the negative, I'm working at these angles over here. You know, it's been a real long time for me, I got to admit, since I've done an angles drawing to this magnitude. And the reason why is because I'm always having to do these quick things for these demos. So this is fun for me to do this. Now the center of this breast is going to be higher than the bottom of the arm, so I want to take that into consideration. Yeah, and then we're just going to kind of tilt down. So at this point I've got to lean back because I'm really getting tunnel vision. This is angled out too much. Not a problem. That's going to turn into background tone. Beautiful background tone. Soft edge in the shadow. My hard edge is going to be over here in the light. And this oblique hip area, I'm going to throw in a little angle over there as well. And this hip really does kick out.